that, fuck 'em up. 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 Trying to strike a chord, and it's probably A minor.
See us on the surface.
All right. Alex, keep it going. Okay. Shit, we're live. That was supposed to go for like a minute or two. Hey, all right.
It's all good. We in that thing.
We are here. How you feeling, Dre?
I'm feeling good, man. How are you, bro?
I am in the game. He smells DMT. This is our co-founder, Billy O'Connell, by the way, the professional consummate in the room.
Where's the camera?
Yeah.
I was thinking the same thing.
Oh, man. All right, so if you don't know, I am Caruso, and this is a very special day for the Wicked Craniums, for the whole Black Chip team, and what we're doing here at TruStub. We have now officially taken the platform live. You can head to TruStub.com. For anyone who's been riding with us, you know how much of a journey this has been, and I'm proud to say that the founder stubs have arrived as well. If you sign up for an account on TruStub, you can go ahead, and we're going to be running some verification. You're going to have your founder stub dropped in there over the next few hours. But today is really just a celebration. It is a vibe. We have new team members. We have a proper introduction with the founders. And we have a badass host. So I'm going to stop talking for a second, pass it over to my man, Dre.
Yo, what's good? I appreciate the alley-oop. What's good to all the good people out there? It's hard to find the camera. How you guys doing, man? I appreciate y'all coming through for us to be able to have something in person. We've been doing this for the last couple of weeks over the spaces, over the phones. It's good to actually share the energy with you guys, man. It's been a wonderful day so far. Just want to pop in and you guys want to introduce yourself one by one and go that way?
Do I need this? I'm Billy O'Connell, and my background is in the music business. I owned a ticketing company for a while. I've been an artist manager for 35 years.
Hey. There we go.
And he's keeping it very humble there. I'm gonna thicken that up. So this is the man who ran Sire Records for a few years. He worked with everyone from the Ramones to the Smiths to Lou Reed to Talking Heads, and I could keep going. And then meanwhile, we owned a ticketing company. You ran a ticketing company for 9 years, dude. And there's the amount of acumen that I've been able to garner through your wins and your losses through that. Just calling you out, sorry, with love. It's been. It's been huge. And if we're talking about huge, I'm going to pass it over to the man, Steve Levy, over here on my left.
Let's go.
Hey, this is Steve Levy. I've been selling shit to ravers most of my life. And got roped into the whole Black Chip community by Caruso next to me, and glad to be aboard. Looking forward to the final launch of TruStub, which is very exciting for us.
Absolutely.
So with that transition, man, we have some vets in the game who understand how to get the ticketing out to the correct people that they want to speak to, understand the technology that's now going into what we call TruStub. Let's jump right into that, man. With Billy, you've been doing it for 9 years. Did it for 9 years.
I did, yeah. I did. I did electronic ticketing from 1999 to 2008, and kind of got pulled into it when a big change occurred in the industry, and ran a little company called Virtuous.com, and we did electronic ticketing only, but we did it with low fees. Portion of our proceeds went to food banks in the cities where we marketed, where we sold tickets, so that every gig was essentially a benefit. Yeah. And then, and we prided ourselves on customer service, so that you could call 24/7 and get one of us on the phone. We literally did on-call rotations in 8-hour shifts. And we always had human beings answer the phone and deal with our customers. And we had over 220 accounts nationwide. We did $4 million in ticket sales for most of our time.
That's crazy.
$4 million dollars a year, I should say. And we learned a lot of lessons. And ultimately, we were killed off by the big bad. And their definitely unscrupulous business practices.
Oh, yeah.
And so I learned. Oh no, it's not even a question.
Right.
It's objective reality. And so yeah, do I have scars? Fuck yeah, I have scars. And do I have a vindictive streak a mile wide? Yep, I do. And so I want to see somebody take a bite out of them.
Oh, let's run it.
And,
That's where we going. Let's go
yeah.
there. Let's run it. So 2009, that was the big acquisition with Live Nation and Ticketmaster was 2010.
Ticket Web was bought by Ticketmaster in their run up to their acquisition by Live Nation.
Yeah.
And when Ticket Web, who had postured as the anti Ticketmaster, and gathered a tremendous customer base based on that rap, which is we're the anti Ticketmaster, we're against the man, we'll never sell out, proceeded to sell out.
That's crazy.
And when they did, they alienated some significant clients in San Francisco, Chicago, New York. And I had set up a ticketing system just for the band I was managing to direct ticket to fans, and we would take a 50% hold on any venue and direct ticket to fans, just so that we could do something nice for our fans and allow them to circumvent Ticketmaster. And so a lot of our promoter friends knew that we were doing that. And when TicketWeb sold themselves, they stepped out of their contracts with TicketWeb and objected to the sale, and then came to us and said, well, can't you just do for us what you do for yourselves? And so I ran out and hired 8 people and became like full-time. It was just us and a webmaster doing it initially. And so then I hired at first I hired 7 people, got 2 more coders in pretty quick, built out as fast as I possibly could. I mean, basically we said yes, but we have to build, and they were like, yeah, we're cool. We'll wait until you're ready. And in 2 months we were ready to go.
So this is 2009?
2009, yeah.
So essentially...
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm only a decade off. 1999 to 2000 to 2008 is when we lived.
Right.
So 99 to 8.
Okay.
And in 98, late 98, early 99 is when Ticket Web sold to Ticketmaster.
Gotcha. Okay. And I know in 2010, that's when they were picked up by...
That's right.
Arctic, so.
But that's post us at that point.
Right.
What happened is once they were, once Ticketmaster got rolling the way they did, we literally had people from Ticketmaster calling our clients saying that we missed payroll, or that we didn't pay out gig proceeds, or that we were going out of business. It was a bunch of crap.
But all that wasn't true.
No, none of it would. No,
Yeah.
there wasn't a moment of truth to it. Not a nugget of truth. And so we were, and we knew this because our clients would call us and be like, you know what they're trying now?
Yeah.
They knew it. But then Ticketmaster came along and started offering marketing money, quote unquote, to our customers. And so late in our life, they started offering up to $250,000, no strings attached, just to be exclusive Ticketmaster. And so these little clubs and little independent promoters were literally calling, not to sound Trumpy in this, but they literally call emotional, choked up, and saying, like, we can't say no to this.
Right.
Like, this is free money.
Of course.
And we had to kind of say goodbye to everybody one by one.
So they got ahead of the game. So
they basically snuffed us out.
So learning it from your position and your perspective, you were on the inside of it. Steve, I would say you were more so on the outside from the artist perspective, having them being a part of the experience that came along with going from venue to venue and trying to, go to places where their fan base can understand and do what they need to do as artists, correct?
Well, my background started out promoting raves in the early 90s, and then I ran a couple of the biggest rave clubs here in LA, and then got into the music, the record business, started Moonshine Music in 93-ish, and we were kind of on the front end of the first round of electronic music here in the States. And I had been in London when the whole acid house thing kicked off, came back out to the US with a stack of records, started DJing and throwing parties, and then we could see that there was a demand for the music, and I had a lot of connections in the scene in Europe, and started Moonshine as a compilation label. And then one of the things that was coming out of the whole electronic music scene was the fact that the DJ was at the front of it and was kind of the Pied Piper, as it were, and they were legitimate artists in their own right, which was something that prior to that hadn't been really recognized. And what we did was we launched a whole series of mix albums, and we treated DJs as artists and their art, the mix, as kind of something that they created uniquely, moving more towards the live. And we had a great deal of success with that. I mean, we were probably one of the biggest independent record labels in the US by the end of the 90s. And one of the big frustrations for us was, how do we take this out and get our artists out live? Because in at least kind of small to mid-sized venues, there was no acceptance of the fact that DJs were artists and could command a room and command a stage. And so working with an old friend of mine who had just started a booking agency, a guy by the name of Paul Morris, an AM only, we put together a national tour called Moonshine Over America with artists, DJs that were on our label. We did that from 97 to 2001. By 99, 2000, we were doing a 6-week run in a tour bus around America, playing something like 30 venues, and we had events that were bringing in 25,000 people in a field in Texas. I wasn't really that involved with the ticketing side of things, but obviously, as I kind of flippantly said earlier, I'm been selling shit to ravers for a long time, and continued doing that even when the ravers stopped buying the shiny silver discs. Moved into the publishing world with BPM magazine, which then became an online business. We had a run with that business through to kind of the mid-teens, 2015. It evolved into being an online ad network and network of EDM websites, and then also a network of YouTube.
For clarity, you founded BPM magazine, right?
No, I actually didn't found it. It was a guy by the name of David Island who founded it in San Diego in the late 90s, and we had launched a website called djmix.com, and we were looking for content and also ad sales, and we ended up acquiring BPM, and that kind of was the engine for djmix.com. We were real early on the website and kind of digital media side. That was around 99, 2000. We built out a website that, and built out a platform that was kind of like WordPress 10 years before WordPress really kicked off. But like I said, we got back into that with BPM as an ad network when EDM was kicking off around 2010, 2011. Then launched the YouTube multi-channel network, where we had pretty much most of the big DJs like Afrojack, Paul Oakenfold, Nicky Romero, among many others in that network, and sold that business in 2016-ish. And then I got pulled into Insomniac, who produced EDC, among other big events, and headed up their marketing and content side of the business for 3 years through to 2020 when COVID hit. So then when I was there, that was where I was, very much involved in ticketing, working with the different ticketing platforms, seeing who was good, who was not, where the problems were. And that's definitely set me up for some of the ideas that we brought to the table with what we're doing with TruStub now.
So crazy. So y'all both have seen it from different sides of the coins at different times when it came to the whole entire ticketing experience.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot. No, so.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, I mean, the big frustration with ticketing, everyone's frustrated when it comes to ticketing. The people who are buying the tickets are, because usually the process is never fun, particularly when you're trying to get into an event that's got a high demand for it. On the other side of it, as a promoter, the platforms are still, as a rule, pretty shit to work with.
That's a fact.
And the thing is that most of the bigger platforms, particularly the Live Nation ones, they've got gatekeepers, they set the rules, and there's not a lot of transparency as well with how things work. I think we're obviously with TruStub, with what we're doing, we're kind of sitting outside of it. What we're just trying to bring to the table is an addition to the experience to make it a little bit more memorable, bring some value for both the promoters and also particularly for the fans, give them something to hold on to afterwards, because we lost the ticket stub in the 90s and the early 2000s. And you know, I know that people who were going out to concerts and festivals and everything, they used to collect those ticket stubs. Now, I hope that we are launching something that gives people something to collect and trade, and makes it more fun again to buy tickets, and also brings some more fun to the experience outside of the actual event, but also, you know, give them a platform where they can hold their memories too.
You know, another side effect of doing the stuff that Steve and I have done for all these years is that we've also learned what the problems are.
Right.
And you know, if one of the reasons to start a business is to solve a problem,
Exactly.
I mean, we have a fistful.
Yeah.
You know, the artists have a problem, the fans have a problem, the promoters have a problem. Nobody's happy. There's a huge enthusiasm gap
Yeah.
in the ticketing experience and the ticketing business. And one of the things just running Virtuous that I learned was to really appreciate the predicament of the promoter, because the promoter has a lot of pain points involved in their process. There's a lot of repetition. There's a lot of limitation. You know, let's be frank. You know, the contractual requirements of a Ticketmaster deal are anti-competitive, and they don't allow the promoter to solve problems freely. Right? They're not able to do much to meddle with the system once they're locked in, and they're afraid to switch out. Right? Because
one of the things that you have a problem with a Ticketmaster, for example, is that you don't even have access to your data easily.
Exactly.
Now, yes, you'll get it eventually, but and particularly if you're selling a lot of tickets, you'll get it, but they do not make it easy on either the Ticketmaster platform or the Frontgate platform as well. So, and the data is what we kind of live and breathe by as promoters. When I was throwing clubs in LA in the early 90s, our data was sending young women around with clipboards to collect people's names and addresses so that we could do our mail out for the next week and get more people to show up. You would hope that as a promoter, you'd have access to the data of the people that come to your shows, because that's kind of your lifeblood for the next shows. And even today, a lot of the platforms make it difficult to get access to that.
Yeah.
And then have a direct line to your fans, which again is something we're solving. Another problem we're solving with TruStub.
No, that's a fact. Not only just for the promoters, but for the artists, for everyone who's involved. Like you said, Billy, it's a handful of people who are having issues just to be a part of the ticketing process. So let's jump into that. With that transition, let's talk about what TruStub is and what we plan on doing with TruStub and the execution of that.
I mean, put simply, TruStub turns your ticket stub into a time capsule that unlocks rewards for fans. So you can think of it as like a Web 2 front end, Web 3 back end platform. That Web 2 front end is really important because I think that we all at this point know that, or at least if you're a DGen, you're in this space, you recognize that normies don't care about this tech the way we do. Like they just want to know it works. The same way that we don't know or really understand how like cloud services works. We just want to do the action. That's what we have to understand crypto is, as much as we're so excited about it and the underlying tech is going to ripple out, but it's like how we utilize it, real use cases. And we think we have a really special one with here with TruStub. And that being said, you don't need to shove it in their face. So everything about the platform is really easy to get involved in terms of you just log in with an email and a password. The wallet's tucked in on the back end, smooth crypto fiat pay rails to make any sort of payments easy. And then you could think about it like Steve said, out the gate, the first problem that we're solving is we're bringing back the ticket stub. That ticket stub is more than just a piece of paper. It is your tangible connection to an otherwise ephemeral experience that is really so much of who you are. Like if you really connect to an artist, and if you care enough to pay for a ticket for an artist, you really care. Like you're more than halfway up the totem pole. It's a super fan. And if you care enough to go and have that experience, that's really like you're a part of that tribe. That's who you are. And all of our experiences make up who we are. And now we have a tangible way to not only we're really elevating it from the analog level, because before, you have this shoebox or you have your
Right.
collection. Now,
Photo
right
album.
here, I can flex and say, oh, I was there. And not only I was there, but this is where we take it beyond the time capsule too. Like, you can put in your own memories, you can get exclusive content, but it really where it gets crazy is how we've basically churned. We're developing like a rewards program for being a fan. It's nuts. Like, the more value, there's so much passion around fandom.
Yes.
Like, people go crazy, spend so much money, spend so much energy, so much time, so much care, without an expectation of getting anything back, because they love the art, they care about that brand. And meanwhile, if these artists, these brands, they're giving away a lot too. They're giving away free tickets, merch, VIP upgrades, but it's not funneled, it's not focused. Like we were talking about a second ago, it's really we're disjointed on multiple platforms, and whether you're a promoter, whether you're an artist, having a singular funnel where you can better understand your fans and also better provide value to them if they're providing value to you.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing with TruStub.
That's dope, man. That's dope. It's a lot to take in. I know it's something that people are really gonna have to learn how to digest and dive into. But this is a great introduction for them to be able to understand and really dive into themselves as individuals. So
Well, and I want to flip it back to you too, man, because like we've been talking a lot about everything going on with TruStub, stuff we can't even get into on this today, unfortunately. But this has been so much of your life and your passion.
Oh yeah.
And I'd love to get. I know that you've been thinking about this since before we linked up. So I would love to get your thoughts. A bit of background too, while we're on our formal intro here.
Yeah.
But then simultaneously, your thoughts on TruStub or what you're excited about within this.
Whew, how much time we got?
Yeah.
Okay, so just a little bit of my background. In '91, when Steve was putting on shows in Texas lawns, I was in 4th grade listening to Hip Hop Hooray from Naughty by Nature.
Hey,
And I was focused on learning how to get into that industry because of the way the music made me feel when I heard it at that age. So starting it back then, I knew what I always wanted to do. Fast forward to 2011, where I end up start working with Kendrick Lamar, working with SZA, being on tour with TDE, actually exposing myself to the music industry and how it worked. And that's when I started getting the experience that you guys are speaking about now, where you're a part of the promotion, you're part of the ticketing experience, you're part of the fandom, and you start seeing the holes that are part of this journey. And you start asking questions like, why don't we just do it this way? Why do we have to do this? Why do our fans have to do this? Like, this is make it easier. So fast forward even more, not giving a full background, but fast forward even more to the present moment, being a part of the crypto evolution, understanding how digitization works and the utility that comes from owning tokens. It just makes sense to take all of the information that's been passed along from gentlemen like you who've been a part of it, you running it at certain times, and putting it together in full an experience for not only for the fans, but for the artists, for the promoters, everyone around. And when it comes to something like TruStub, it just makes sense. Why not have something that you can, one, build a collection on? Like you said, everyone likes to flex. They like to showcase that they've been a part of this journey, who they've been with, who they've seen, what they've done. Have an easier way to actually be a part of whatever it is that they want to be a part of, whatever artist they want to showcase, whatever artist they want to support. Giving them a connect bridge to that fandom and also receiving that information as an artist and the data that comes along with it to be able to home in on their own personal community. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's about, right? Like,
well, one of the magical things about the business that we're in, especially the live music business, is that the artist, the promoter, and the fan, like, they're all stakeholders in common.
100%.
Right? Everybody contributes this flow of enthusiasm, and this provision of a service, right? And that should flow freely.
Yes.
Right? But there are kinks in the hose. There are many kinks in the hose at these various points. And what I think we're able to do with crypto, with the tokenization, with the taking the NFTs and like just agreeing we don't have to throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Right.
We
Right.
can use these as efficiencies, right? And unkink the hose, and just make that flow of positive energy much more frictionless
100%.
along the way.
No, I like that analogy of the hose, like even bringing the hose back up, right? We love the hose, but having the old hose that your father grew up on, we have a brand new engineered hose that can contract itself and retract when it's not being used, right? It's the same type of thing. Just because we've had something that's been there for quite some time doesn't mean we have to still use that same exact object. We can create something brand new, engineer something that works with the times, and put it out there for people to utilize. And that's where we are with TruStub. That's the next step of evolution of fandom all the way around.
Ticket stubs for the bros and hoes.
For the bros and the hoes, get it together. You know what I mean?
Oh man, I love how it's like, okay, we got like our badass legit co-founders coming in, and it's like
That's
bros and
wild.
hoes and DMT. It's like,
That's wild.
oh man, no, incredible, incredible, and like, so I want to take a second to thank Pop Wonder. If anyone is not familiar with this artist, he is one of the most talented visual artists just in the game overall, but especially in Web3. And it's a beautiful full circle moment for us because the first ever collab we did with Wicked Craniums back in 2021 was with Pop Wonder, and that was a big win at the time.
Yeah.
And like that, everyone went crazy. And to be able to both sides. Web3 is 3 years in Web3 is a lot of time.
Yeah, long
And
time.
most MFs are either gone or have screwed up somewhere along the way since then.
For sure.
And to be riding alongside people like Pop, where we can still reach out and do something cool like this, and it tightens the loop in a beautiful way.
Yeah.
And it's really spectacular art too. So I just want to take a moment to say how excited I am to finally get that into everyone's hands.
So
And everyone, you have if you came to our Black Chip Christmas party at the end of the year last year, then you make sure that you make sure you sign into TruStub because you are going to be eligible to receive that founder stub, and it's more than just art.
Where do they have to go, Jack?
Oh, you got to go to TruStub.com. Absolutely, it's easy to remember.
How do you spell that?
TruStub.com. Absolutely, and it should be a very straightforward walkthrough. That being said, with no E, but you might also notice it says trust in the word. But we
Trust
what I mean, last little bit without giving away too much on the founder stub is it's a beautiful collectible, and we want to make sure that the first one it is that we had a really great piece of impact on the front end. B, it's a time capsule where you're going to be able to put in all of your memories. But for anyone who got that founder stub, hold on to it. There's a lot more coming. There's some upcoming rewards we can't quite get into today. Simultaneously, one thing that I am really excited about are the societies and what that basically, that's a whole other aspect that we can talk about today, but people aren't going to see.
right.
And I know that's actually, when we're talking about backstage or anything like
Right,
that,
right,
that's
right.
really where you've been cooking.
100%.
And like maybe we talk about that for a second, because really TruStub is like what's really unique about our angle is the onboarding. A lot of people have tried to do fan experiences, but it's really hard to get people onto the platform.
Yes.
But we have a really unique mode of onboarding through ticketing. If you bought a ticket to a show, you're eligible to claim your TruStub and just get right into the platform. That being said, it's our job to figure out what's the web we're building behind that once we have them in there.
Yeah.
And that's what we've been getting deep on.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't know how deep I want to get into backstage and societies that come along with
That's
that.
what I call it. Yeah.
I mean, I would love to. I love speaking about this, but I also know that
You're smart. You're trying to not give away any sauce.
exactly.
Yeah.
bro. I've been so saucy for so long.
Yeah.
Man. I'm gonna keep it extra dry from now on. So, onboarding is everything. Again, thinking about it from the fans' perspective, that's something that's true to my heart. I hold it near and dear to my heart because I've always been a fan of so many great artists throughout this time, and we're in such a moment where we can get that much closer to those who we truly want to support, right? Like we don't really have the gatekeepers that we once did when it came to the music industry, where you had to jump through hurdles just to be a part of something. every day that passes, we get closer and closer to the people that we want to be a part of. So without going too deep and getting too saucy, societies are something that have always been there. It's always been a community. It's always been fans. Speaking to the Ramones, we can bring it all the way back, right? Like thinking about those underground parties that they used to have when they would just come and pop up somewhere, and how excited people want to be just to be there and have that experience and go the next day and like, yo, I saw them at the such and such hotel, whatever. Now you have a place where you can come together, congregate, and know before it happens, right? Like,
Yes.
say your favorite artist drops a secret show. Hey, we're going to be here tomorrow at 5. You guys are invited because you're here right now, and we know that you are the core when it comes to our fandom. We want you to be here. You're the core when it comes to our society. We want you to be here. So be there tomorrow at 5. Now imagine that type of power, that type of information, that type of experience that you can have with any and every artist that you enjoy. That's the evolution of all of us.
I love that point, and that's so real. And then also this to dial in on what TruStub can really help an artist promoter with, because to Steve's point before, like it's really hard to get that data in general, just
Yes.
an understanding of who your fans are. B, if you have an understanding from most platforms, what an understanding means is in email, maybe a region,
Right. Yeah.
But if you're able to, without, because this is also the beauty of blockchain, without giving away people's actual information, you obfuscate data, but you can give psychographics of an account.
Yeah.
And then if you can understand, like, okay, these accounts actually care more, those are the people that get the invite.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
like those, because they're the people that deserve it.
Yeah.
And that, if you deserve it, and how often now is it happening where you deserve it, but you didn't get the invite because that artist doesn't know?
Exactly.
And that's lost money for that
Yeah. And
artist.
lost experiences.
Not to dwell on the money aspect, but like thinking about this as a business,
Yeah.
like if you're trying to optimize, because that's what we're for. I'm an artist at heart, but we're forced to like think about how we optimize this as a business, and like it's
But this allows us to make the business part, to introduce fun to the business
Exactly.
process.
Yes. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
There's this this exchange of value. Yeah, you could you could speak about it clinically if you want to, but really it's about just recognizing the effort, appreciating it,
Yes.
and then making it fun, making the relationship fun.
And that's the everlasting energy that keeps everything going, right?
amen to that. Amen to that. Man, Tristan, how you holding up over there? I'm in the game. I want to give a big shout to Tristan, our producer, our social media manager, holding down the stream. Is he gonna pop his face in? There he is.
Let the people
There
know
he
who
is.
you are.
Oh man, yeah, we have a fun stream today. Obviously, it's a different vibe with the video. I'm loving this energy. It's
Yeah,
great
man.
also being able to connect with y'all in person like this.
I didn't think this is what you would look like.
Surprise, motherfucker. Yeah, right. And we do have a surprise at the end of the stream. Let's just say that the camera's going to churn a little, and the vibes are going to churn up.
Yeah.
Oh man, but I'm trying to think. Getting into TruStub, getting into what I think one thing that we can talk about without going too deep on the societies is loyalty.
Yes.
And like gamified loyalty is actually a word that we've been tossing around here.
Yeah.
What is What's up?
Nothing.
Oh, so jokes
more
aside,
sauce.
Steve also he hates when I use the word gamified.
Right.
Yeah, but it's been great because it's made me it's forced me to use it appropriately.
Yeah.
I
I mean, I think it's a hot term for the present moment, man. Everybody wants gamified experiences, especially when we're talking about the Web3 crypto world. They stopped saying utility. They started saying RWA.
Yes.
And they're incorporating gamification in the RWA, right? So, like, it's just part of the now, I guess, meta that we're dealing with in this cycle. So
Smells like fun to me.
yeah, right. Exactly. It carries that same type of energy. So, but that also keeps things going, right? When it takes away from the business side of things or the rigidness that comes with trying to execute these specific objections or objectives, and then it's fun. It's games. Oh, I'd love to do that. Yeah.
I know. I think that's spot on. I think that kind of fun too. I think that that's actually it correlates so heavily with Web3 culture.
Yes.
And it's why so many of us have gravitated towards this.
Yeah.
And it's crazy now too, where like we're all, and it's whether it's us here at Black Chip, whether it's other teams that are out there crushing it. Like we're at the point where it's like, okay, this has been fun. How do we make this fun maintain?
Yes.
And that's like through, for us that means products.
Right.
But it's like it's really so fascinating just what like here actually before I go on a diatribe, I'm curious, like what was your aha moment for NFTs, now RWAs?
I always was searching for the dirty word. I was always looking for utility, right? I was there early when NFTs started popping off. I could have minted a Bored Ape, but I thought they was ugly. No shots. Now, I mean, I've lived with that regret for quite some time. You know what I mean? But I was around early for that, and I searched for certain communities that offered real utility because in my mind, coming from an entrepreneurial side of things and understanding that having limited edition products, whatever it may be, could increase the value of that said product if you spoke to the correct community that was looking for that specific product.
Right.
So that was the utility of owning that. So when it came to digital assets, in my mind, it was like, of course it has to have utility. What's the point of, and no shots at the people who like the art, but no, what's the point of just having something to have it, right? Like, what is going to happen once I obtain this item, and what can I do with that?
Well, that's that baby with the bathwater issue, right? Like the NFT thing could be ridiculed by people for like, oh, so it's a JPEG and you own it, and it's the only JPEG that's exactly like that. It's one of one, right? But one of one is a powerful tool when you're talking about provenance.
Yes.
Proving that this was yours and it was yours on a certain date.
Yeah.
Blockchain,
sure.
right? Blockchain brings that same sort of authenticity and provenance, all that public journal of ownership and transfer of ownership, and all that's the magic of one of one utility.
100%. I
right?
agree.
And
I agree.
And immediately, like if you've lived with the problems in this space, you immediately start to connect the dots, and you're like, oh yeah, well that could be an answer.
Yeah.
How can we use that? How can we retool it to be something that solves these problems, these pain points that we've been suffering for so long?
I agree. No, I agree.
Let me ask you a question, because I think that for me the promise of NFTs was that you had this structure whereby visual artists could be getting paid for their art on an ongoing basis.
Yeah.
And which was something in the music business, we obviously had a model and a structure in place, and that was the record labels, and that was royalties, and every time someone bought a physical good, and then it became every time someone listened to a stream or bought a download. And the thing with visual art was the artist had one opportunity, and it was just selling that canvas, and then it was gone, and they had no connection to it moving forward. And if the guy who was brave enough and smart enough to pay the artist for that canvas held it long enough and someone else wanted it, then he would sell it for more, but the artist never participated in that.
Right.
And so for me, seeing what was happening with NFTs, that was the great promise. I feel like, and this might be controversial sitting based on, what we're doing with our business, I feel like this discussion of utility has almost taken away from that. You're not thinking about the artwork and what went into that, and then as there's transactions around it for the value in the art rather than the value that the art might bring you an experience. I feel like those are two different things.
I agree with that.
I think
I
maybe
agree.
we're just emphasizing a different aspect. Right?
Yes, I was going to say that.
The art is the given. The art's the reason for it all to exist. But what we're talking about is the utility that allows secondary markets, allows that ongoing participation, and it's like and for people to prove authenticity and their chain of ownership and chain of custody or whatever.
So you've got Banksy. Let's take Banksy because that's a really obvious one. Everyone knows Banksy's a visual artist. Do you build a club that anyone who ever bought a Banksy can only get into?
Why not?
is that part of the value of having those Banksies?
No, see, that's the part of the discussion of the
Right.
point that you're proving, because we're all saying the same thing in different layers, right? Like, I think that would be a crazy fucking idea to have a Banksy community where if you own this Banksy, you can get into these places.
Well,
right?
own any Banksy, yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So to answer your question directly, yes, right? Like, of course, getting a Banksy is an experience on its own. Banksy could then, of course, like you said, follow perpetuity sales and second market sales and make a certain percentage off of that initial sale, but also every time it's resold and rebought. But then at the same time, he could take that perspective and create a new avenue. I'm gonna open up my Banksy club as well. That everybody who comes in here, he's making a percentage off of whatever sales off of that.
So that basically kind of furthers my whole theory with NFTs, where now the artist gets to participate in the value of their brand in the same way
As a
that
musician.
Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
Whenever he has a live show, a bunch of people come for that, so he participates. Like Banksy is opening his pop-up clubs in different cities at different times for the people that have bought his art or his prints or even his NFTs. So I think that that's kind of what we're doing with TruStub, is we're
Exactly.
building this platform where the art does get you into a club and does enable you to participate in experiences and does give you bonuses and value that you wouldn't get if you're not holding them. So yeah, I think and it's all validated by the underlying technology, which is the blockchain that's sitting behind it.
Yeah.
So again, I think we're fulfilling that promise, and it was really why when Jack and I first met, I didn't know who the fuck he was. He didn't know who the fuck I was. And 2.5 hours later on our first call, we were pretty much aligned in this, what could possibly be the evolution of the technology behind NFTs that really, quite frankly, got hijacked by Ponzi schemes.
Man,
Let's be
shit
real.
coins, 100%.
And it was crazy. I remember every time I opened up my Instagram, I had my private DMs and requests like barking dolphins from Bangladesh and shit like that. Only 10,000 in the collection. Buy it now. I mean, it sucks that that's where it went to. When you've got some of the OGs in the scene, and obviously again what Jack has done with and the team has done with Wicked Craniums, by when the rug got pulled out under the whole market, all of the holders, they provided value for the community, utility, the dirty name, the dirty word.
Yeah.
So again, I think there's definitely a future for this for sure.
And speaking to that point of the future, that's exactly what I'm speaking about when we're talking about backstage and societies, right? Because it's evolved from just being an artist or a musician or fill in the blank. We're focused on the possibility of anyone who has a community being able to be a part of that and creating that same type of hierarchy with this technology and all the possibilities that come with it.
We with that in mind, we're launching in music because we're all music guys. But I see we all see a huge opportunity around sports and things like that. Anything where there is fandom and where people want have passion for something. We're hoping that TruStub can be a part of that journey for them.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, I think
Gamification.
anywhere there's enthusiasm, or the desire to collect, the desire to prove your ownership, prove authenticity, all of it's possible. And the other thing that needs to be said is it might not be for everybody.
Right. Yeah.
Like we can't solve a problem that doesn't exist.
That's true.
So if people who own Banksies don't want a society for Banksy owners, then there won't fucking be one.
Yeah.
But if you see the potential in that, and if there is a pain point that you're experiencing, then there is a solution for that hadn't existed heretofore.
And I would say this to the point of Steve hating the term gamification. There's a lot of gamers out there, and they love it, and they want to be a part of it, right? Like the Fortnite universe would love to have something like this, where if they have a certain type of skin, that they get to go and meet up or have certain attributes being a part of their universe at that
Well,
point.
you're also talking about neurology that's changed in people.
Yeah, exactly.
Game designers know neurology.
100%.
And game engineers understand the way people like to progress through and learn. So, leveling up or dealing with a particular challenge or mission, certain, that's great for people's, synapses. It's great for their
100%.
own, it's great for a lot of people's neurology. Maybe not old people like me, but there is an aspect of it where
Right.
it's like, oh, wait a minute, you got me interested now.
Yeah.
What I can, by doing this, I get that.
Yeah.
I fuck with my Delta frequent flyer club.
You
You know what I mean? I make choices because of that goddamn that loyalty card. And sometimes I spend more money because of it.
100%.
Right? But it's because I do get something back, right? So there is something that even tickles the receptors in an ancient man like me.
In all of us,
But,
right?
yeah,
The
but-
strategy that's applying.
But people who grew up with games,
Yeah.
there's no doubt they think differently,
Yeah.
and their neurology is different, and they're wired differently, and this just gives them the food for those connections.
Yeah. No, for sure. Amazing. No, yeah.
So I mean, we carried it for like beautifully there to a different spot, but I kind of want to pull it back like two to five here, because I think that when we're talking about art and utility, and well, first off, I think that there are three things that make an NFT successful: community, art, and utility. If you have those three things, then those are three pillars that you can stand strong on. That being said, like when I came in, the art was more than enough.
Yeah.
Because the art was new and it was really exciting, and everyone was just like, "Oh my god, this is like," kind of to your point. Then it got bastardized because it was so exciting.
Yeah.
And I think that we're really in a down cycle of that, almost in the same way where like utility was the hot thing, and then now we can't even fucking say that word. Like I think that it's going like really provenance in digital authentication with art is absolutely a thing. I think it's just going to take a lot longer than what, it's just like the metaverse.
Yeah.
A few years ago, we were like, oh my God, we're about to be in here.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, we got way ahead of ourselves. There's still.
But it's not about buzzwords. It's about product. It's about like purpose before product.
Yeah.
Why do you fucking care about provenance? You care about it if you have to care about it. If you're about to sell the thing, you want to prove that it was yours. You want to prove when you got it, how long you held it, whatever it is, right? So if it's authentication, if it's provenance, it's all it boils down to the meaning at the bottom of it all, right? And that's really whatever buzzword is in vogue or out of fashion. It doesn't matter. The point is that I think that the purpose behind the product is consistent.
Right. No, and I dig that. I think you're absolutely right. I guess the larger point I was getting at too is that I think that we're just in the midst of a much larger cycle where art is going to get more of the. It's not going to be it's not going to be the barking dolphins from Bangladesh, but like there will be great pieces of art and artists that are able to get the respect that they deserve through digital authentication, just the same as there are going to be products like what we're doing that end up championing utility. So and it takes
And gamification.
and gamification. God damn it, that's my man.
But I think like, what we're saying is there are always going to be these peaks and troughs and things that are in vogue and things that are like out, right? And so what's the red thread? What's the consistent thing that runs? And what that is meaning.
Yeah.
Either you make the world a better place, either you right or wrong, either you prevent the end of something good, or you're not doing anything real.
Same thing, tapping into the whole point of this, right? The music we were talking about before, either it's good or it's not. Either you rock with it or you don't. And that's the same type of point you're talking about, that red line. You're there for that because you love it and it makes you feel some type of way and it creates these memories for you and you can share it with somebody else that you care about and so on and so forth.
It's where the meaning is,
Exactly.
right? And so the through line is meaning. Right?
Exactly.
And that's never going to go away.
Yeah.
I mean, not as long as we want it to be here.
Right.
So, but that's why it's important to me that Black Chip and TruStub is a values-based organization, that we're purpose-driven, right? Like that's why I think that's what makes good guys good guys. There are plenty of bad guys.
Yeah.
But
especially in this space.
Yeah. It's all about
Well, that's what I
balance,
mean.
though,
Like
right?
the whole barking dolphins from Bangladesh. There's going to be more of that shit. Of course, there's going to be more of that shit, right?
Yeah.
Because there's always going to be predators, and there's going to be prey, and there's going to be dark, and there's going to be light. There's going to be fucking evil and good, but it doesn't matter as long as we're making meaning. As long as there's a through line where this thing can be about the right things.
Yeah.
Amen. And like, what we're in a new and exciting period right now, a new and exciting space in like what we're still in the Wild West period of Web3 right now, which means that like outlaws have way more reign. You know what I mean? So like, it's fascinating when you look at it like that, and you think like it gets a little bit different from standard technology because it's decentralization by definition, but you know, we're not at the point where we have the systems of checks and balances of people to like, if something happens, there's not a third party that can go help you out most of the time.
Exactly.
You're on your own.
Yeah.
And like that, I get why that's terrifying for someone who doesn't have all the context.
Yeah.
That's also why I'm really excited about TruStub. Like, we're kind of a Web3 Trojan horse in a lot of ways, where we're making it really exciting, like just putting digital assets people care about into their hands, like making it free and easy as hell to do so. And then from there, it's like, let's continue to, as these guys would say, surprise and delight.
I like that. I like that.
Hey guys, it's 420.
Yeah. Hey. you don't even what?
We're just trying to break the silence.
Yeah.
Line it up.
Oh man. Yeah.
421 now.
Okay, we missed the moment. It's over. Oh man, but we are gonna get vibing over here in the next few minutes with a different kind of live spaces today. Tristan has been holding down the Wicked Waves live streams. We've been getting going. We had Ava on last week. We had Comodosis the week before. This week, it's a little different. We're going to have a family set. We have one of our dear Wicked Craniums, one of my closest friends and best people, Alex, I'm going to keep him anonymous for now, who's going to be holding it down. Something very special, too, beyond myself playing. The one and only Steve Levy on my left is going to be joining the B2B. So you know it's getting real. It's getting serious.
Moonjack in the house.
Moonjack is in the house, and I still take a lot of excitement from that name. But, man, this has been an absolute vibe. I want to thank you all for coming and hanging out here. Dre, I'm so excited you're on the team, man.
I appreciate it.
This is the start of some crazy shit.
I agree, man. I'm super excited, more than I can even put into words. Having legends like you guys to be able to bounce ideas off of and execute with, it's going to be historic run, man.
It's a two-way street, dude.
Yeah.
Completely.
Yes, sir.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, I mean, let's put it like this. If you haven't signed up for TruStub, head to TruStub.com right now. Set up an account. If you are eligible, you're going to be receiving that founder stub. If you
Hey, fuck it. Anyone who signs up in the next 30 minutes gets a free TruStub.
Hey.
Turning it up then.
I was about to get something to them there. So actually, we are going to be giving away one founder stub to someone who's on the stream. And simultaneously, if you are signing up, you are going to be able to get access to not the founder stub, but another early access TruStub that has a lot of weight onto itself. So
That's right.
it's definitely worth getting involved on that early adopter during that early adopter stage. And man, I'm gonna stop playing it cool and just take a second here to say,
When was he playing it cool?
Man, the whole time. Bro.
yeah,
That's
right.
the whole thing.
Jokes aside, this is really, I'm not gonna get emotional.
Don't cry.
Go
But
ahead, bro.
Don't cry.
y'all, we have been working on this for so long. We have not only been working on this for so long, but we've been pushing for so long, and it hasn't been easy.
Amen.
And you two, the whole team, I feel like it's galvanized us and brought us tighter together. A lot of the pains of figuring this out, the bad devs along the way. But I really believe in serendipity, and I really believe that where we are in this moment now, the people that we have wrapped around this now, we had to get to this point. And this is, I just want to thank the whole crew, thank the whole community that's been hanging with us. I fucking love you, Skulls. And I think it's time to get some music going.
Let's
What do you
go, man. Turn it up, bro.
think? All right.
So we appreciate y'all joining us, coming through, spending this time with us, learning more about TruStub. We have so much more lined up for you guys to experience. Make sure you stay along and enjoy the ride, man.
Beautiful. Alex, get us going, dog.